This week we're talking about year-end tips and 2020 goals for entrepreneurs. I'm learning to thrive in the gig economy. Would you like to learn too? You know, one of the nice things about being a gig worker and having different streams of income is that at the holidays, when my writing slowed down, my editing services slowed down, and I finished the last public speaking workshop that I was going to do for the year in mid-December, I had about 2.5 weeks. That would have been really slow. Now, it's great for people who have jobs because they just take the time off and they get paid for it. But those of us who are gig workers, we don't have that option. That's why it's great to have different types of income coming in. Because for the last 2 weeks of December, when all my other work was very slow, what I did was I worked on my Amazon and eBay stores, repricing objects, putting more things up, taking down old inventory and donating it to get the tax deduction, things like that. I could do that for those 2 weeks because my other work was kind of slow. So there's an advantage to having different types of businesses in your range, in your toolbox. You know, some of the other year-end things I did, of course, was buy up a bunch of supplies for 2020 because I wanted to get the expenses in on 2019 so I can get the deductions and cut down on the amount of income I have that will be taxed for last year. So the last week I was out buying planner, I bought packing supplies, ink, things like that. Got all that taken care of probably for the first half of 2020. So this way the expenses are on 2019, and that's another little tip for you. If you have that next December, try to buy supplies ahead of time. The other thing I did was I did my quarterly taxes. And that was a little tricky this year because I hadn't really expected to make a lot of money. And so I was a little bit behind on the quarterly tax payments. For those of you who have regular jobs, you don't worry about that. Your money gets taken out, withheld, every paycheck, it doesn't matter. But for those of us who are entrepreneurs, every quarter we have to estimate how much money we might make, how much money we have made, and we have to pay taxes on that amount. The government doesn't want to wait until April 15th to get a whole year's worth of taxes from you. They want you to give it to them as the year goes on, because this way they get the use of it for a full year while you don't. So I had to do the quarterly tax payments, and that at the end of the year, and that was kind of sad actually, because I hadn't expected that to pay as much as I had. So you need to really plan for that. Now, looking forward to 2020, I wonder what goals you have for your businesses. You know, I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions where you go, okay, this year I'm going to do X, or I'm going to do Y, or I'm going to do Z. But it's good to have a few ideas in mind when it comes to being a gig worker. For instance, this is the year I've really got to get the website up and running. I've had it half done for a while. I want to finish that. I want to get it going. I've also got a number of ideas for a YouTube channel I mentioned before on this, dealing with editing and showing off some good editing, so this way it may help me get a few more clients. But the main thing I'm going to do this year is I want to automate as much of my business as possible. My college son is home right now, so he's been showing me a few programs online that, for instance, I can schedule my posts from now on, schedule my YouTube videos, things like that. I haven't learned any of that. He's teaching me that right now, you know, and I'm going to try to automate as much of the other stuff as possible, as much of my accounting, as much of my mileage counts, things like that, because this way it'll free me up to do a little bit more interesting things, more creative things. Anyway, I'd like to know what your goals are for this year as a gig worker. Please leave your comments down below, and if you've got any advice for me, I'd really appreciate it too. And please like and share this video. YouTube really wants to see that, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos this year. Happy New Year. Talk to you next week.